close encounter that had everyone, all 1.5 million people that were the peak audience on the BBC, the highest, I think it was the highest audience since 2008. So yeah, everyone was gripped and everyone enjoyed it. So well done on the Challenge Cup final. We're now going to move into covering some other stuff from around the world of rugby league. Other results then, and we start off results with the other game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the 1895 Cup Final, where it finished Featherston 16 and the sponsors, Lee Centurions, 30. We got a couple of reviews in on this one. Do you want to take these?
Yes, so Cup Review, the black sheep of the review family, says, in what seemed to be a tight contest in the first half, both Tickle Rock and Jennifer Jason Lees were flattered by the 12-all scoreline. The second half descended into a story of pass it to the big kid like in juniors. It was then a contest of which lovable rogue would win it for their side. Sloppy BJ Layer or Baked finds a white line. This game had more drop balls than the schoolyard of pubescent boys. In the end, it was white line favour for the Jennifer Jason Lees. And Matt Speakman says, well done to Lee and well done to both set of fans for creating a decent atmosphere even with the ground a quarter full. I thought Lee looked a bit rudderless in the first half, but Mellett and Reynolds guided them round the park in the second. They were hitting the ball at speed and gaining loads of metres. I thought Ipape was also deserving of man of the match. He was a star. I expected more from Rovers.
Yeah, I mean, 30 points to 16, but it was 5 tries to 2, wasn't it? And, you know, another team, this team kicked their penalty goals, but still were well beaten in the end in this match. I didn't catch much of the part where Featherston were maybe on top, so you might be able to flesh that out for me. I saw Lee constantly putting pressure on Fev, both teams making a lot of errors, but Lee having a couple of more outstanding individuals. I thought Reynolds was good. I thought Ipape was awesome. And that three-quarter line would have had Lee Radford having an absolute massive hard-on, wouldn't it? The size of him.
Yeah, I mean, first things first, Ipape was head and shoulders above anybody else on the field in terms of, you know, talk about getting a performance out of somebody that you might not necessarily expect. You know, the guy was amazing. So, yeah, absolutely fully deserved man of the match. Featherston looked good in very, very brief patches. In general, Lee were by far the better team. Featherston, they passed the ball a lot down their right-hand side, and they were much more dangerous down their left. But it ended up in Briscoe's hands quite a lot, and they just hadn't created the space. Well, the ball had to go back inside.
It ended up near Briscoe's hands quite a lot.
Well, yeah, okay, yes, yeah, okay. Sometimes it ended in his hand.
And when it did, he tended to get ran into touch.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Featherston were a shadow of the team that they've been so far, you would say. Although Lee were definitely much more dynamic than they were the first time they played each other this year. I think Lee have definitely pushed on. You know, they've recruited. They're clearly a better team now. And
we'll probably talk a little bit about that when we talk about the 14-team topic, actually, won't we? In a way.
Yes, I mean, not that they could play this team in a Super League, but yeah, Lee are definitely. They're definitely marked improvement from when they played in February.
Do you have Lee down as favourites now for the promotion after this game, or do you think it was a one-off game? Let's not read too much into it.
I think partly because of Mr. Beaumont, I think this game just meant quite a lot. You know, and he was certainly enjoying it at the end. I wouldn't read too much into it in the same way that I wouldn't have written off Lee by Featherston's demolition of them and back in round 2. So I think it's more even than it was before. I think it would be in the mix, and it wouldn't surprise me if the playoff match at the end of the season has a similar feel, because it felt like they were both a bit scratchy early on. There were quite a lot of mistakes, people said. There were a couple of good bits of play, but generally it felt it felt like Featherston performed nothing like that they can do.
A lot of stuff felt forced from both sides, didn't it? Like they were trying to pull off great plays, or they were trying to entertain, which you've got to give them credit for. But like there was that sort of 15-minute spell in the second half where Lee just took control and actually took the chances, whereas before that both teams were guilty of letting chances go begging a bit.
Yeah, they let chances go, or as in Featherston's case, they kicked penalties, which is not something you expect to see from them. But
for all Brian McDermott's big match experience, it turned out it was Adrian Lamb that took it on the day.
Yeah, it was literally comfortable winners.
League One, Round 9, the Friday Night Lights game, just up the road from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but this on the Friday night. Big turn up here. London Scholars 38, Oldham 16. Fantastic for the Scholars on their big night out.
Yeah, I honestly, before the weekend, I toyed with the idea of going, and I decided to do something else instead. But I kind of wish I'd gone now. but there you go. If I'd gone, probably Oldham would have won it at a canter. That's just the way that it is.
Yep, well done to the Scholars. Wheelchair Super League, Hull FC 74, North Wales 32. That's a really positive result for the Hull FC side. NRL round 12. So it was the Storm 28, the Sea Eagles 8, or as NRL Review put it, Alan?
The mist descended on the Flappers, and Herman was again outstanding. The Neck and Gaelic Ioli were not able to inspire their troops despite their efforts.
Panthers 22, Cowboys 0.
The Black Pussies just didn't let them score. They were tight in defence. The heads were spinning for the reverse cowgirls, and not even Casanova Villas could get on top. Not much a reverse cowgirl can do from the bottom.
Broncos 35, Titans 24.
It all started so well for the Lucens. They were well on top, but then they relinquished their grip on the game, and the ponies came galloping back.
Warriors 16, Knights 24.
Just a low-quality game with multiple kicks out on the full from the Concerned, and the Daywalkers were not much better with the poor passing. Pom-Pom schooled the LGBTQI plus guy. Coach Brownstein would be worried about the second half, but at least the Daywalkers could party that night.
Rabbitohs 44, West Tigers 18.
Looked like this would be a close one until the beach sprinter got the hoppers bouncing. The Ginger Pussies looked stuffed right up the middle, and the opposition hopped away with it late. Glory hole, glory hole.
Sharks 16, Roosters 36.
Not blood in the water this week, and Shark Week was cancelled out by a probing Cox attack. They penetrated their line multiple times, and it wasn't a good week for the Aldi Heath Ledger.
Bulldog 24, Dragons 34.
A classic day back at the kennel for the Barkers, and after a slow start got to the lead, but breathing fire, the mother-in-law hit back and got it done.
Raiders 20, Eels 28.
And the Snakes ventured into the heart of the lime factory and came away with victory. There was some snake skittling in the end, but the limes were squeezed.
All that means the Panthers, or should I say the Black Pussies, are on top on 22 points, with the Mist on 18 in second, the Reverse Cowgirls, the Ponies and the Snakes all have 16. The Cox and the Shark Week have 14. The Hoppers and the Mothers-in-Law / Fire Breathers sit 8th and 9th on 12 points. The Lime Factory and the Flappers have 10 points. The Warriors and the Day Walkers, I think he's added that Walker part in, have 8. Then I can't keep going. Titans, Tigers, they both have 6, and the Bulldogs at the bottom have 4 points. 2 other games got in touch. David Walker, who is the normally non-existent member of the NRL Review family, got in touch about Newtown 21, West Magpies 21. He said, "It was a great day out at Lidcombe Oval to celebrate the naming of the grandstand after Tommy Radonikis. The Jets got out to a big lead but were pegged back, and it was 20-all. Lachlan Miller, who's a Rugby Sevens convert, kicked what looked to be the winner, but Jock Madden got one back for Wests. Newtown had a chance to win, but glad it didn't happen because the play of the ball was after the bell."
Yeah. And another game Alan Walker got in touch with, it was Bow versus, oh my God, Villegale Honk Aragon.
Yeah.
In the Elite 2 semi. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
No score. I don't know what the score was. But anyway, Oh, there it is. It's the end.
Yeah.
All over at halftime as Jan Gouache ran the show and El Geckos ran out 44-30 winners. The little general showed the family management skills to pull the string till the game was safe and then guided them home as the French team tried to make the scoreline a bit respectable. The Drax Elite 2 team go to the All-Catalan final against either the El Burrados or Lira.
Good stuff. Keep us up to date on that, Alan, and rip our pronunciations a new one. That is
Absolutely.
Other results covered. We're going to do a couple of bits of feedback now, so we're going to break for that. Right, the feedback we're going to talk about Sarah's blog that we talked a little bit about at the start of last week's show. So go back to listen to episode 342, the first 15 minutes or so, to hear more about Sarah's blog, or go to superleaguepod.com and look in the blog archive. You'll be able to read it there. We've had a couple of people who've got some refereeing experience get in touch with us, Alan. Do you want to tell us what Paul had to say first of all?
Yeah, so Paul says, a great read, but a sad reality in all sports. This has happened for too many years, and the Respect the Ref campaign hasn't really worked. We should be encouraging more youngsters to take up the whistle.
Yeah, and David Hunter sent us an email. He said, as a former junior league referee, I thought I needed to weigh in on this. First of all, this abuse is not a new thing. I refereed in 2005 and it was happening then and even before then. The source of this, I think, is so widespread that it's hard to identify just one cause. However, if you listen to the match reviews on this very podcast, you will hear the propagation of negative views on referees. It is all well and good to laugh them off as whinging ex-teams fans, but every time someone says things like the referee was against us or is in trying to get the result they want, it's taken on board by kids and helps them form an opinion that the referees are the bad guys. I hate #refsfault, but it is rampant in rugby league. This is not helped by commentary, especially in Australia, where they are often questioned or blamed by the commentary team. Players and coaches also do it. All this helps instruct younger audiences' minds that the referee is to be hated. I'm not sure if this is coming from a position of authority that is not to be trusted in the RL community. RL fans are made up primarily of working class people in England and Australians who are both notorious for having deep mistrust of authority. But whatever the cause, I think it's time to draw a line in the sand and not read out or censor match reviews that accuse referees of being incompetent or, more importantly, imply the referee is against a certain team. We can all do better. I'm very reluctant to censor any match reviews because it's always been our stance that, you know, everyone's views get to be heard even if we don't agree with those views, because we give our views and we know people won't agree with our views as well. So, yeah, I'm keen to make the point referees can be criticised. You can criticise refereeing decisions. What you shouldn't do is make it personal, I think. You know, I don't think abuse is obviously way over the line. I also kind of think pointing out individual referees over certain things is a bit wrong. You know, the referee got a decision wrong, I think is fairer to say, than James Chow got a decision wrong, but sometimes it's unavoidable using the guy's name. But I've always said and always maintain, and if anyone wants to listen to this show, you know, for the 9 years we've been doing it, the fans are the ones that are biased, not the referees. And if anyone thinks differently, they are fucking stupid. But I still think we should be able to have valid criticism, or at least have conversations about it. But maybe David's right. Maybe it is crossed the line to an extent now where it's just accepted that referees are the bad guys. What do you think, Al?
I don't think in terms of anything, we've never read anything out where it's too abusive. I think the issue is that referees are easy scapegoats.
Yeah.
If something's going wrong with your team, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get on the back of certain players or certain coaches or certain ways of going, or, you know, you're playing badly, or your form's bad, or I don't know, you tripped over the cat this morning and you're not having a good day, whatever. It's very easy to blame an outside source for that rather than looking internally at you know, what's going on in your club. So you get this ridiculous thing where,